Now, can I ask you about your brand new Harley? He looked pretty good out there today.
He did, didn't he? He's been in my group when we've been in the smaller groups earlier, and I've been pretty excited watching him go around. But and it's nice to actually see him join the group after the time we've had off. So no, we're pretty excited about him. He's still got a fair way to go. You know, it's obviously his first main session in a pretty long time, and he's got to tick a fair few boxes. But today was a big step forward for him.
What stands out to you just about, I suppose, he racks it up and he can break the lines, his skills, everything? Sort of
we all know the talent and kind of player that he has been in the past when he's up and firing, and I think that's the reason why we took the chance on him. We were pretty confident we could get his body back to the level, and we were well aware in doing so that was going to take some time. So today was another step forward in the progress of his rehab and recovery, and now it'll be a really important period for him to sort of back those sessions up, get the miles in the legs, and build real confidence around obviously his calves and his body in general.
Is he any chance for round 2, or is it more a longer term prospect?
I wouldn't have a clue, to be honest. At this stage, it's about consistency with his training. Obviously, he's trained bloody well today, and he's ticked a lot of boxes in the time that he's been at the footy club. But in saying that, you've got to look at it from a bigger or a wider perspective, and he's missed a lot of footy. He's got to put together a big block of training to ensure that he can last the distance, and I think he is a long-term prospect, but the way he is going, he's going to be pushing for selection, if not round 2, hopefully at some point this season.
Is that the hard part now, I suppose, scratch matches rather than VFL? It's the hard part to get sort of games into him?
Yeah, I guess so. I think, with the quality of sports scientists in the game, and, the amount of people that are sort of looking after that aspect of, the players, I'm pretty confident that through training, we're going to get guys to the right level in terms of, preparation physically. It's a disappointment that you miss out on the match practice kind of stuff, and particularly once we start playing, that's then limited in the training sessions you do. But those guys will have to just do what they can, and I'm sure those sessions will be quite solid for the guys that aren't playing, and hopefully at some point in time throughout this season we come to a bit of a resolution, and the guys that aren't playing in the AFL team can play some sort of match play.
Did it surprise you at all seeing him intercept and explode like that? I mean, I must say I was a bit shocked to see him moving that well.
No, not really. As I said before, we know the calibre of player that he is. And, that's the reason why we were confident in taking the punt on him. And, once he's got the ball in his hands, we've seen it even in, pretty minor touch sessions that we've done right at the start when he was sort of, I guess, just walking around and those kind of things, and not back at full flight like we saw him today. We're well aware of the skill and natural ability that he has. I think now the challenge for our footy department, in particular our fitness guys, is to continue to get him out on the paddock and get real confidence and strength back in that body so he can last the season.
3-hour session, how brutal was that? It looks painful. And is this the toughest season physically you've ever had to endure?
Not really. We've just come from a fair break off at a time that we never get any time off. So to be honest, I feel great physically. I think a lot of the boys are excited to be back training together. Obviously, the sessions that Burjo and the team had organised over the period were quite tough. But in saying that, it prepared us for a session like this that we saw today. So I'm pretty confident in where this group's at physically, and we're all excited to get back out there and start playing games like we should be.
What's it like wrestling with Viney? Competitive beast, but pretty intense out there.
Yeah, no, he's got a brother at home that's a star jiu-jitsu fighter, and you can see that talent come out with Vines. I'm pretty sure he's had a fair few wrestles with him. So he schooled me out there today, that's for sure.
Did they handle my moustache? Intimidation factor?
Nah, not at all. It's a bit of carry on, I would have thought, but I don't mind it. Bit of fun.
What's the inspiration? There's a bit of a Nathan Carroll do.
I don't actually know what's going on. I'll have to touch base with him over lunch, but it's an interesting one. It's not my cup of tea, but anyway.
What about the captain's Fred Astaire? What's your take there?
I love it. No, I love it. I think it's look. It's there's been a huge beat up about it. I find it kind of funny, really, that we're going down that path. From my perspective, Maxi's our captain, he's our leader, and however he looks, whether that's a bald head, a mohawk, peroxide hair, whatever. Whether he came with tattoos on his head, I wouldn't care, because all we care about is the actions that he presents on field and around here, and how he leads the boys, and he does that terrifically. So he can do whatever he likes, if you ask me.
When you started, footy was a bit old school, and those things I reckon were taken a bit more seriously. Are you really embracing that more millennial attitude to judge me on my play? And
yeah, absolutely. I think that's the way we're going these days. I don't think that old school mentality works necessarily anymore. There's still elements of it that are important, particularly in a sporting environment or high level professions. But in that regard, the fact that people are questioning him over what he looks like and how that affects his captaincy, I can't see the correlation there at all. And as I said, I can only speak from my perspective or opinion. Max can look and do whatever he likes, providing that he performs on the field and that he leads and performs as we would expect as a captain, and that's absolutely what he does, and he's earned his right to be in that position.
What are your thoughts on a night grand final?
Love it. If you're referring to some of the stuff that a few of the players, particularly Pendles, has mentioned in recent times, I'm a huge fan of it. I think at this point in time the competition has to look at all options. And possibly, particularly in this season, potentially be quite innovative. But, in going forward, I think we should be open to, all options at this point in time, and really shape the game for not only, the short term, but also the long term, particularly with what we've seen from, an economic situation that we've faced this year.
Is that even including the 3-game grand final series like Pendlebury spoke about?
Yeah, for sure. I think there should be consideration, of that. I'd be open to extending the season. I like the fact that this year we're playing every team once, but potentially could we make it a 34-game season, play every team twice. The 3-game grand final series I think is a great idea. Potentially a wildcard weekend, so there's 10 teams. I think there's so many great ideas with a lot of positives. I don't think we should shut the door on any of them at this point in time. I think we'll get this season done and dusted with how it's shaping up. There's obviously going to have to be quite fluid in doing that, but I'm excited that footy's back. My priority and our priority right now is to get this season underway and hopefully get back winning some games of footy. But I guess we'll leave it to the AFL and their board in terms of developing the game beyond this season and for the future. And I think if it was me, I'd be definitely keeping my options open.
Do many of the guys talk about that sort of stuff, and do you get a sense that a lot of players feel that way?
Oh, I think you hear about other teams, other players' opinions within the league, and guys will you hear on guys whether they like that idea or not. I think a lot of guys are excited about the potential of those things. I think night grand finals excites players. I think a playoff style grand final would excite players. Even the wildcard weekend. Obviously I think in a lot of those options that players continue to throw up, it's just to see if we could potentially play more games. Really, I'd be open to shortening the pre-season by a month or two to play a longer season, or have more games involved in terms of making the finals. So yeah.
What's going on with the disco beats? It was like
yeah, it's we've been doing that. We do that a little bit back at Gosh's, but I think it's a bit more impactful out here. Just create a bit of atmosphere, have a bit of fun, a bit of energy. Also a little bit of distraction really with training and that kind of thing, making guys think. But in the end, it's just I guess the music in particular is just to get guys going. Get some excitement, get some atmosphere going out here. Obviously, we've got some construction in the background, so maybe to distract the boys from that. But yeah, there's nothing too scientific behind it.